You know, I've watched my fair share of movies and series involving time, and most of them don't play with the shape of it. They consider it a straight line. But some studios are bold and they take risk. They put in the work to make the timeline into a shape of a fuckable object, a circle. The first movie involving paradox that I ever watched according to the movie's timeline was 12 Monkeys, and I know it sounds like a movie about monkeys, but it's more about people behaving like monkeys, where they got balls big enough to travel back in time and kill their own fucking self, unintentionally creating a loop which they thought they were destroying in the first place. But what is a paradox? Well, in simple words, if I were to explain, when you travel back in time and influence the decisions made by your past self in such a way that an entity or situation from the future come into existence for your past self without any origin. Your future self had it because your past self had it, and your past self had it because your future self traveled back in time and gave it to you in the past. So where the fuck did the porn magazine come from? Try explaining that to your mom. Well, this is a loophole in the paradox script writing which series like Dark dealt with pretty seamlessly. Here's how. This is what a circle on a 2D plane looks like. In terms of circumference, you cannot tell what is the origin of the circle. But we do have a third axis in 3D plane. Consider it z-axis. And this axis is capable of drawing that circle via a compass, where the tip of the pivot of the compass is the tip of z-axis around which the pencil or pen revolves. And Dark series does exactly that in simplifying the paradox. You go left, there is past, you go right, there is future, and inverted if I'm wrong. But there is a dimension above and outside of this loop that proves to be the origin of the loop. Even the fucking machine shoots the laser downwards. I cannot be wrong about the fucking visualization, damn it. Dark paradox was created by this time machine which was built by him after getting inspiration from a broken time machine from the future which he himself built in the future. So where the fuck did the machine come from? The thing that existed in Dark was a bootstrap paradox, but these are all fancy fucking names for paradox. It's a simple way of defining incest where a father fucks his own daughter the legal way. There is no reason to call the fucking police. Now there are certain movies, and I like to call them butt fuck fudge cake served cold. They like to use the word paradox just like Marvel like to use the word quantum physics, but beware, they have no fucking idea how geometry works. Tell me this, how the fuck can you call a timeline a paradox if you are in control? If you can change the future you already lived? That is not a fucking paradox, it's just you simply traveling back to past and telling your young self to stop jacking off to furry pond, otherwise you'll die a virgin. And you know what? Your young self actually end up listening to you, changing the future that you already came from. Fuck you, bad writing. Consider Umbrella Academy. This boy finds the future fucked and travels back in time to fix it. Little did he know that is exactly what destiny had planned for him. That moment he traveled back in time causes a devastation in future, creating a loop. His vision of future influenced the setup in the past, leading to the very same apocalyptic future. Where did it begin then? What if raging male hormones somehow destroyed the loop as it was? Well, that's when Umbrella Academy season 3 happened. Same destiny but different versions of them. Why? Because they destroyed their own fucking timeline, so they don't belong anywhere. God said, fuck you, eat shit. Now do you understand why Dark had an alternate dimension with different people but same loop? People thought it was a spin-off and series was gonna go even longer, but they didn't know that third dimension only appeared because Claudia broke out of her time loop one day when explosion happened and time stopped. It was not her discovering a new fuck up where daughter fucks her dad, maybe, but it was the beginning of the end. Let's talk about the studio that is a little scared of paradox. Every time the word loop comes in mind, they shit a little. Marvel. But sadly, they have the perfect depiction of how time might actually work. You travel back to past, that action of yours becomes your future, and your former present becomes your past. So good luck telling your young self to actually confess to your crush, because little did you know, a guy named Larry is still filling her guts deep when you travel back to future. You change nothing at all. And if you somehow manage to get the fuck out of yours, TVA comes after your ass. But you know, once in a while a good paradox comes out. Source code. Jake Gyllenhaal, the classic brainfuck actor, half dead, being controlled by a military group to stop a terrorist attack. He sends an email from the past to the officer monitoring him in the present. And you know what's the most fucked up thing about this? It was all happening from inside a computer simulation. A simulation so fucking good that it breaks the space and time barrier. And he himself ends up causing himself to become the part of the program in the first place. There is also a fucked up version of paradox, probably the weakest one I've ever seen. It looked like it was written by a 3-year-old high on crystal meth when he was in an induced coma. 2067. Holy shit, they have no fucking clue how two ends of a line work. I don't recommend watching that shit. Fuck that movie. And that is where I think I've made it clear enough for you to brag in front of your family and friends and explain what you were doing wide awake at 3 a.m. last night. Bye.